very good day to everyone. My name is Annah Bengesai and I'm here with my colleagues Lerato Sokulu and Tembinko Simkize. And the focus of our presentation is on student engagement with online learning and how this is associated with their academic performance. So the SARS pandemic has disrupted our lives, as we are all aware, and has seen the rapid digitization of teaching and learning. As academics over the past 3 years, we have been trying to find ways to better improve our teaching and learning in this online space. And learning management systems such as Moodle have become our main teaching and learning platform. But with this new space, also a number of issues have arisen in the number of debates related to whether this new mode of teaching and learning is effective, also issues related to the affordability as well as its feasibility. Yet, despite such widespread commentary, not many studies have investigated the utility of learning management systems as a teaching tool or as a monitoring tool. In this study, we explore the association between students' online engagement on the Moodle platform and its association with their academic outcomes. We use the concept of community of inquiry, which Lerato will present, and to understand how students engage in these online settings.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. So I'll be presenting on the theoretical framing of the study. The study was framed by the community of inquiry model, which is one of the many models that helps us evaluate and investigate students' engagement with educational technology. It also helps us in assessing how students can collaborate with others for purposeful learning as well as learning through active participation. Now, the main idea of this particular theory is that in order for online courses to be successful, they need to establish a community of inquiry that interacts well with each other, right? And this community of inquiry should be made up of the multiple interactions between students, the course material, as well as the instructor. So there should be interaction between students and the learning material, and the interaction between students as well as their instructor. And the main assumption again for this particular model is that the higher the degree of interaction between these stakeholders, the better the learning experience. Now you would have seen this diagram in the slide. It is what we call the different components such as social presence, cognitive presence, as well as teaching presence that make up unique and constructive educational experience for the student. Now, social presence refers to students interacting with each other informally about the course content. So you find that sometimes students may talk about what is being learned online with each other informally, and they create that educational experience for themselves. And you find that there is what we call cognitive presence as well, which mainly looks at the total views, submissions, as well as activities that have been submitted and provision of feedback. So with this particular component, we look at how many times do the students actually go online to view the content that is prescribed for them, and do they submit their activities on time? Do they engage with the activities that is put out there for them on that online learning management system that they are using? And of course, is there any form of feedback that has been provided for the students, possibly by the instructor? And the last component is teaching presence, which looks at the teaching process, which directs the social and cognitive interaction for meaningful and purposeful learning. And this teaching presence is mainly done by the instructor to direct learning, to make sure that students are actually learning towards particular objectives. That is where I'll stop for now. However, it's important for me to emphasize that our study will focus more on the cognitive presence, because we are here to evaluate how students actually engage with the course material that is posted online in a learning management system called Moodle. Thank you.
Thank you, Lerato, for that wonderful exposition of our theory. So, using this community of inquiry theory, our focus is on the utility of Moodle analytics in explaining student engagement, in identifying students who, because of their lack of engagement, are at risk of failing a course. And we base this analysis on a foundational course which was taught in the second semester of 2021. The course had 4 assessments, but for this particular presentation, we're going to focus on the first assessment, which was a literature review, and this was written, this assignment was written within the first 6 weeks of the semester. We also used a number of proxy measurements of student engagement in these first weeks leading to the assignment submission, and some of these include things like views, task completion, as well as their interaction with some of the activities on Moodle. And then we compare these with their academic performance. So our study is located within the field of learning analytics, and in terms of process, we first conducted a manual content analysis of students' online activities and subjected this to a cluster analysis. In the second level of analysis, we also considered the inbuilt Moodle module for engagement analytics. So module provides information on students' level of engagement across against a number of indicators, such as the number of views, logins, task completion, activity completion, and Moodle then creates a composite score for each student, and normally these are sent to the course instructor as insights. So the class was made up of 92 registered students, and in terms of the proxy measurements for online engagement, we considered lectures and tutorials, including interactive tutorials that students had to complete online. There were also a number of resources that they had to engage with, such as an example literature review, how to write a literature review, as well as some literature. Students also had a number of homework assignments that they had to complete to assist them in writing the literature review, as well as a number of documents that were posted on Moodle with instructions such as the assignment brief, the rubric for the assignment, the course outline, as well as the student workbook. In terms of the types of engagement, lectures and tutorials, we considered this to be reflective of student-instructor engagement, and as per theory, this also represented teacher presence. The resources were a proxy for student content engagement and also reflective of cognitive presence. Task completion was a mix of student content and student instructor engagement and a proxy for teacher presence as well as cognitive presence, whereas course instructions were mainly student system interaction or student course interaction. We then subjected these proxies to cluster analysis. I'm not going to go into the process of creating the clusters, but what we found was that there were 3 distinct clusters. In the first cluster, we had students who only engaged with the course guidelines and instructions. In the second cluster, we had students who engaged mainly with the resources as well as the course instructions. And then in the third cluster, we had students who completed all the tasks as well as attended lectures or the interactive tutorials on Moodle. We then subjected the cluster membership to another analysis. We considered what was the difference in mean marks for the 3 different clusters, and we found that students who had more interaction with the instructor were most likely to get more marks, approximately 6% more than students who only interacted with the instructions. And students who interacted with the content were most likely to get approximately 3 marks less than those who interacted with the instructor. On this slide, we present the analysis of students who were flagged by the learning management system as being at risk. And our findings are similar to the content analysis and cluster analysis. We find that there was a difference of approximately 7 marks between students who were flagged as being at risk and those who were not at risk. In other words, students who were at risk were most likely to get 7% less marks than those who were not flagged as being at risk by the learning management system. So, this exploratory study has shown the potential of Moodle to identify students at risk of failing a course. Secondly, it has also shown that the level of engagement with online activities is directly linked to academic performance, and this is mainly due to the cognitive depth which Moodle Analytics has incorporated in their algorithm for identifying at-risk students. There is also an element of motivation, which unfortunately this study could not measure. We recommend that academics optimize Moodle to promote student participation in online activities and improve academic performance. The insights that are sent by Moodle on a regular basis should not be ignored, rather they should be incorporated in the teaching and learning approach. These are some of the references that we used in our study, and thank you for listening.